I definitely read your character name as influenza.
That's on brand for this month. But no,
Back over here.
I really struggled with the code name. As much as I love superheroes and superhero stories, like coming up with superhero names
Yeah.
specifically is like the worst thing for me. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
And
Yeah.
I'll say one of the other like weird things about this as a system is because it's modern, like your people can just have normal names. And so like it's really weird of
Oh
like
yeah.
picking a character name because like I mean this came up. I see it with your character too. Like their name is Sage. Like that's a normal name. like like it's really weird. It wasn't as big of a problem in my home game for me because I knew everyone because I gathered my friends to play. But for them, it was a lot more difficult because they didn't all know each other going into it. And then so many of the characters have normal names. So like I have a friend named Michael who's playing a character named Arthur, which are like just
Oh
both
no.
regular names. Like
Nope.
and so it definitely made it like more challenging. Let alone the like code name type stuff. But
Okay.
Welcome to City on a Hill Gaming, a tabletop RPG actual play and discussion podcast. We hope you enjoy our show. Welcome back to City on a Hill Gaming. I am again not your purveyor of nonsense. I'm just your intro guy. Hi, it's Ryan, joined by Cameron.
hello.
I call on him right as he takes a drink. My apologies. Emma.
Hey.
And Andrea.
Howdy.
And now, this is Cameron's problem because he is, in fact, your purveyor of nonsense this evening. Purveyor
What's up,
nonsense,
everyone? Yeah, we're ready for nonsense. And so tonight, again, I said this last time, as people can tell from the title, we are back playing Marvel Multiverse. And so if people have not had a chance to check it out, I encourage you to go and look at our character building, where we walked through creating Ryan and Emma's characters. And so it was a very fun time. I'm excited for us to be here playing it now, and I'm excited that Andrea has joined us. And so should be a much more rounded party. The odds of me TPKing all three of you is much lower.
Ah,
Good.
And so
how dare you count out our ability to all die in a game?
yeah, I'm sure it's
Hey,
nice that I have all of your character sheets and I know exactly what does and doesn't hit at all times.
It's okay. I
And
fought a
so-
bone devil earlier today, so I'm ready.
Yeah.
Sick.
And so, for people that are have played Marvel Multiverse before, we will be doing the Inter Hydra one shot that Marvel put out. Definitely have put some spins on it and stuff like that, and it should be a lot of fun. And so, I'm very much looking forward to our characters and our cast that we have with us for tonight. And so, before we get into it, as an introduction to everyone, I would like us to go around. I can call on people, but I would like you to, again, just say your name again. And then I want to share, like, who is your favorite superhero? And, like, if you have a favorite movie, like superhero film, what is your favorite? And so for the people that can see me, it will be no surprise that Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, as I'm rocking my hat from Disneyland. And then, of course, Into the Spider-Verse being arguably the greatest superhero film ever made, being one of my favorites. Andrea, let's go over to you.
I'm going to be a little blasphemous and pick a DC hero.
How dare
Even though
you.
I know we're playing a Marvel
Wow.
Our
game.
sponsorship. How
Disadvantage to
dare
you, disadvantage to your cow.
Hey now.
Okay, well, it's fine. So my favorite hero is Batman. And I mean the Dark Knight trilogy is pretty good. But also the 1980s one that's worth watching. So
Emma, over to you.
I've got two for the reason of they're very similar in their power sets. One
Okay.
is Thor, and two is Storm.
Sick.
So,
Yeah. Emma has a vibe.
I have a vibe that I like, and it's weather-based. I just think it's so cool.
Hey, Emma, what power do you have? What does your character have?
It may be electricity-based. My favorite is the first Thor movie because it's the first Thor movie and it involves Thor, but it's also the first superhero Marvel movie I ever saw, and I saw it a couple months after it came out while on a plane flying back from Spain. So it was like 2012 or whenever it was, and it was a great time, and I suddenly became obsessed, and now I'm here.
And now we're here.
Now I'm here.
It's
And
the
now we're here.
the dominoes meme of like saw a movie on the plane. Now we're here.
Now
We're
we're
here.
here. I am now in the film industry.
What about you, Ryan?
It's either Spider-Man or Hulk. It's probably Spider-Man because I grew up roughly with that. Like, was it? I forget what it was actually. It was the Spider-Man cartoon, like the '90s one, which was just very like definitive. And movie is either Avengers or I'm just going to throw this out there for the sake of it. It's probably not, but it's Big Hero 6.
Oh, yeah.
Big
Underappreciated
Hero 6,
film.
That is
Big
such
Hero
a
6
good
is
movie.
really good.
Yep.
That is, and I don't want to consider it a superhero movie, but it definitely is, and it's a very good film.
Stan Lee makes an appearance, so
That's she's not. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's Batman.
Isn't
Sorry.
there technically comics for Big Hero, like superhero
Yeah,
comics?
like
for
I
Big
think
Hero
they're
6 as well?
technically.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, they're owned by Disney, so they could be Marvel now. But I think they're technically a Marvel property. I may be wrong about that
I'm pretty
part. but
sure.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is.
yeah, Big Hero 6 is very good if you haven't seen it.
Well, thank you for sharing, everyone. Always like to have some fun, and again, with superheroes being such a core part of geek culture, I'm very excited for us to go and play this game. I've been playing this a little bit in person, and it's been a lot of fun, but for everybody else, it is all of your first time playing, I do believe. So for any of the listeners, if we get something wrong, kindly post a comment letting us know what we did wrong. That way, it feeds the engagement. We appreciate your support. Also, give an upvote if you're watching on YouTube. All of those things. Drop the reviews. All of that. Let us know that you enjoyed it and the things that we can improve on. And so we're going to be kind of jumping in. And so as a little bit of a setting, we're going to, of course, be in New York City because that's one of the best places for these kinds of stories. I'm ready. Players, are y'all as ready as you're going to be?
Yep.
Yeah.
Relative ready.
The golden age of heroes has passed. After a long-fought battle against the forces of Hydra, many of the world's mightiest heroes have stepped down from their role as protectors. Steve Rogers has passed the shield to Sam Wilson. Tony Stark has hung up his suits. Natasha Romanoff has vanished into the unknown. Just to, name a few. This has left the world in danger, but has also created a time for new heroes to step up to fill those empty positions. We find ourselves, as I said, in New York City. We're going to find ourselves at Empire State University. Common alumni, of course, include, eventually Miles Morales. We don't know necessarily where he's at in this timeline. We're going to find ourselves late afternoon, sun reflecting off the towers of New York. And this is where we are going to find our characters. Late afternoon, school day. What do you expect your characters to be doing? Let's find them. I think in Delta Green, this is called a home scene. But this idea of what does this normal day-to-day look like for your character? Give me a little introduction to them. If people don't know their identity, maybe their identity isn't revealed yet. And so in this scene, Emma, I feel like you're the craziest one with this, and so I want to hear what your character is up to first.
Okay, so I'm Andy. That is all caps, Andy, with a period in between each one, as though it were to spell out an acronym. It doesn't actually stand for anything
So far.
Ooh.
But Andy is an android who has the name Andy spelled on the bottom of her foot, which is where she got her name from. But she decided to stylize it a little bit, just to make herself stand apart a little bit. She just goes by Andy. She is an engineer, because what else are you going to be when you're essentially just a robot, a sentient robot? That's her logic. So she is likely in a lab or some kind of engineering, wherever the engineers hang out at a university, because she's there working on a little electronics project, just muttering and solving things and fixing whatever it is she's doing. occasionally phasing through a wall to grab her coffee and bring it back to her. Even though she doesn't actually drink coffee, she just likes the vibe and the concept of coffee. So she phases through the wall to get her coffee, bring it back, set it down on the desk next to her. Occasionally she'll like dip her pen in it because it stops working and she can't actually like lick it to make it work. And then she'll go back to writing. And yeah, that's just, she's just hanging out, working on some little project in the engineering lab, having a good time, muttering to herself.
Just having a good time, just vibing.
Yeah, just vibing. She doesn't really know where she came from or how she was created. She just gained consciousness one day, gained memory, and saw the name Andy on the bottom of her foot and took it and ran with it and is now at working a job. So
there's like a 17-story arc here somewhere
Yeah.
that I really want to follow.
Yeah, I mean, if we were doing this as more than a one shot, like I would have written out a bunch of ideas for
exactly.
how Andy got created.
She may be a returning character in other one shots, honestly, because I like this idea so much.
I was gonna say, you keep saying one shot, and I keep hoping you don't actually mean one shot.
Introductory one shot.
Yes, correct answer.
Let's go over Andrea to you next.
Okay, I'm playing Sage Sullivan, who is a professor at the university. In her off time, in her hero time, she is Flora, and her power is plants. And because she super loves plants, she works in the biology department and teaches classes on plants. So at this point, I think she'd probably be like grading or have some office hours or something.
Sounds good. And then Ryan will jump over to you.
So I'm playing Gracie Granite. And since I too will just aggressively lean into it, she is a geology major. So she will be in the geology lab, studying for some kind of midterm.
Okay.
And yeah, just mostly studying.
Something that y'all might not know, at Empire State University, the engineering department, biology department, and geology are all in one building.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's in the source book that way.
Seriously?
Insane that it works out.
Beautiful.
I can't believe y'all picked the 3 fields of study that happen to be in the same building.
That is great.
And so, as y'all are all here, all working on your various tasks, the fire alarm for the building begins to go off. You hear police outside, you like the sound of sirens, and you are being asked to evacuate. What would you like to do?
Oh dear, not again. Fine.
I like this idea of Andy who like just cannot be bothered by anything.
Oh, she cannot.
Like, I feel like Gracie knows she has to go check and make sure Andy leaves because she won't bother to otherwise.
She will, except this time she is going to pick up the notebook she's writing in and she's going to start walking out the door, except she's going to keep writing and just focusing on what she's doing as she's walking out the door, not even looking where she's going, because if she bumps into anything, she'll just phase through it. So she'll just like,
wow,
and
that's
keep
so
going.
convenient.
And that's it. Like she just walks towards the door, continuing to do her little math equation in her notebook that she's working on.
I'll just, every once in a while, Gracie will just reach up and just turn her directionally so that way she just keeps
just
moving
like,
forward.
Nope,
Yeah,
that way.
Never stops the momentum, just...
Nope.
Just like shifts.
Anyway, and the 3 goes over here. Nope, that's not a 3, that's a 5.
We'll get outside eventually, it's fine. She phases through the outer wall, but we're on the 2nd floor, so she's just like still.
Except she can fly, so she's
she can fly, she's fine,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
She's a threat to herself more than anyone else.
Eventually, the group of y'all, with all the, of course, other various students and staff, find yourselves outside. There's a diner that is across the street from your building, and it is blocked off by police. If this was an anime, you would notice that like y'all's characters look distinct in the giant crowd, even though you might not be like standing next to each other, and everyone else just looks kind of like a generic NPC.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And so, and then there are like our police up towards the front, and there are people like trying to push the faculty and students kind of away from the diner. What would you like to do?
So it's not our fire alarm that's going off, or it is
Your fire alarm did go off as well.
Okay.
Yes. And then there are police outside between your building and the diner across the street.
Interesting.
I'll look for any obvious signs of fire.
Give me a vigilance check. And if other people would like to do this roll as well, you can do this. Roll your 3d6, add your total. Remember your Marvel die, the 1 counts as a 6.
And this is non-combat, so my vigilance is 2, so I add 4.
Correct.
14.
Yeah, like, I mean, you by no means can see everything, but like you do not see smoke coming from the building or anything like that.
It's like a 12 for me. So
Everyone knows Andy.
Everything seems fine.
Like, Andy is well known as a hero, correct? If I remember what you said
she's
correctly.
like a public figure. Like,
Okay.
She does not have a secret identity,
Yeah.
is where we landed.
Okay,
That is
right.
different than being well known.
yeah,
But I would know.
like,
Presumably, I'm
Maybe.
just going to assume Gracie would know.
I mean, she
Um,
doesn't have like an alias or anything, in great part because to her it's like, I'm a robot. Like,
It's a relative concept.
like I can't really hide my identity
You're already
when
a
I'm
robot.
out fighting crime.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's like if a sentient octopus were to start fighting crime and then also, work in the local aquarium.
Oh, I
Someone's
didn't
gonna
know.
at some point go,
Wait a minute.
I saw you on the news, fighting whatever.
Why is that octopus running all 8 checkout stands?
Yeah.
At some point, we'll get close enough, and she'll still be writing in her notebook, so I'll just, like, physically tilt her head up to the... Eh,
Oh, I guess I should probably pay attention.
I think something's wrong.
You don't
I'm-
say.
With all those police, one would assume.
Good assumption. Good assumption.
We should do something? With the, like, big lingering question mark.
Yeah.
Above your
Y'all
head.
kind of RP'd
Yes.
this together. Sage, what are you up to? Like, are you in the general vicinity of them? Like, are you in, like...
Yeah, probably. I mean, like, how it's probably a big crowd, right? Like, if we've
Yeah.
got multiple departments in the building and stuff. But I think I'm assuming Andy kind of stands out from aside from the fact that you established we're in a sea of NPCs. So I'd probably clock them and all the police and stuff.
Well, and Gracie occasionally fights with a group of other college student heroes, so I would assume we would have a... Wait, what's the word I want? Faculty advisor.
Faculty. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Cough. Cough.
Okay.
I can be your faculty advisor.
So, okay, yeah. Like, I like this idea of, like, so we have our like on campus. So like if we're thinking of it from like a term or like a geography standpoint of like you protect the area around the college kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of like this is the and then
your
Flora is
friendly
like the
neighborhood
faculty advisor for
Yeah.
this after school club.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't let us do it if we didn't have an advisor.
Yeah. And so
And
it's,
she seems
what-
like the only, valid
Yeah.
option for an advisor for this position.
yeah.
As the as the botanist, the word I'm forgetting.
Oh, that works.
I like the idea that our
So-
advisor is the only non-powered person in the group. We just had to have a faculty member. Just like the one teacher's like, I mean, if all I have to do is sit there, yeah, sure.
Sure.
You're not even there most of the
You
time.
don't have to be, it's fine. We just have to be able to put you on the paperwork. It's liability.
Okay. So then, Sage, you find your way over to Andy and Gracie. You do notice that most of the other heroes that are on this, like a part of this regular team, are not present today for whatever reason. I'll also give you the call out for Sage of not only do you notice that there's no fire, you notice there's no fire trucks.
Oop.
Mm.
Do we think maybe the alarm was just to get us out of the building, to get away from whatever's happening over here?
Any police procedural I've ever seen, dag nabbit, they're robbing the building.
All of my research is in there.
I
All
don't
of
think
my
they're.
research.
I don't think they're robbing. Who's gonna rob a college?
They're stealing our mass spectrometer.
My
You always steal the mass
research.
spectrometer. They're expensive.
No, most villains aren't that. I don't think so.
I did have my research stolen once.
Ooh.
So, they could be going after
get
my
it.
research.
It's possible, but aren't you holding your research right now?
That's true.
This is just one notebook. Both of you to assume I only have one notebook.
It's not
Just
a lab.
because
It's a
I
room
have
of her
very good memory
notebooks.
doesn't mean I
Yeah.
only use one notebook.
Didn't realize you even needed a notebook. I thought you just stored it all in like a.
Oh, I mean,
Chip in
touche.
your-
Yeah, that's fair.
You'd
In
be
the noggin.
surprised. You would be surprised.
Okay, well,
So do we go into the diner or do we go back onto campus?
I could use a cup of coffee.
but okay. Should we
Okay.
hero up first or?
So
I don't do that.
I
I just show up.
Yeah, yes, that's fine. We will. Stares at Andy. Okay. I like that we come to every event 1/3 ready.
Yeah.
It saves on time.
Well, I like this idea though that Andy can cause the distraction that gives the rest of you the time to change if needed.
No.
I'm
She
the
heroes
tier
up.
guys.
She just puts on one of those eye masks. Just like black around the eye. Done.
No one knows who they are.
It's the
I put
Superman
on glasses like
yeah.
Clark Kent,
Oh my
except
gosh.
they go on when I'm going to fight crime.
I don't know if you've seen it. There's a video where Henry Cavill and a friend went downtown in like New York City with him wearing a Superman t-shirt, and he wore glasses and no one recognized him.
Yep.
They would just ask him for directions.
Yep.
This happened to the OG Superman as well.
Right. Like it
Like he
apparently
wore the Clark Kent costume like to
Yeah.
restaurants and people did not recognize
just
him.
completely blanked on it. Yeah.
I think we need to. As a society, we need to recognize that glasses don't actually change appearance that much. When I first got them as a first grader, I was so excited to go back to school. I was like, no one will know who I am. And everybody was just like, hey, Andrea, what's up? And I was like, oh, come on.
Come on, guys.
I've been misled.
I always believed this mattered.
Yeah. Listeners, have you been misled by glasses? If you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comment section.
And so, tell us down below.
This is what happens when I don't do
You can tell
calls
like the
for
podcaster in
engagements.
me is coming out
Yeah,
of like the
like-
calls for engagement.
I don't ever do calls for engagement, but when we have Cameron here, I don't have to
So-
worry about it.
Okay, so,
we'll-
for Gracie and Sage, y'all are able to find your a place where y'all can change.
Phone booth.
And yep, there's conveniently a phone booth on the
There's
edge
conveniently
of
a phone booth.
campus where the police are not looking, so
Right.
no one.
Oh, wow, these still
no one can
exist.
Conveniently a phone booth at this
No,
time in history.
the Avengers have an initiative secretly to keep phone booths dotted
Um,
around.
Yeah, they just
You know
what?
let
Yeah,
them around.
Yeah,
makes
but they're
sense.
all covered in like ads and placards
Right.
like that, like
Yep.
you would see around New York City. So that way you can't see in them,
Yep.
so no one can see when you're
It's
changing.
just like a little Stark
to keep it
Industries
PG.
logo in the corner.
Yeah. Y'all find yourselves costumed up, and you can make your way over to the diner. And so, as you approach, of course, you do see a bunch of police. You can choose to sneak past them if you would like, whatever it is that you would like to do. If you would like to engage them as, like, and not fight them, but if you would like to talk with them as vigilantes, you are more than welcome to try that. Or if y'all would like to just kind of run in, you do hear a commotion coming from inside of the diner.
I'd like to believe that like New York City police are conditioned enough in the Marvel universe to just like someone with a cape will just take 2 steps back and let it go. But anything I've ever watched with Spider-Man tells me that's not the case. Because that's never what happens with Spider-Man.
I think Andy's just gonna try and walk in and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm just gonna follow her.
honestly. Like,
It's fine.
Yeah.
She's gonna walk in with a little bit of confidence.
You do it with confidence and no one will
Yeah.
question it. It's fine.
Okay.
Like
Uh,
I'm just
We're supposed to be doing this.
yeah.
Okay, so as y'all enter the diner, you find
Sick, it worked.
Yeah.
Awesome.
y'all find that there are 2 thugs holding up the staff. One is back behind the counter, and then the other one is watching the door. He sees you come in and says, "We got capes. We need to get out of here. Roll for initiative."
Ooh,
Yeah.
Oh,
there's my number. Okay, so still 3d6 just plus my initiative
So-
modifier.
3d6, add your initiative. Let me know if you get a fantastic. So
19.
Whoa. 13.
Wait, I got a fantastic. Is that 6?
that's a
Or-
6,
That's a 6. Okay.
Oh wait, I got a 6 on my Marvel dice.
but not a fantastic.
Correct.
Okay.
I have 12. A fantastic 12.
Fantastic 12. Okay. So the way that fantastics work when it comes to initiative is that you get to act in a bonus round for everyone that has rolled a fantastic. And so this would go through normal initiative order, and we would look at and say, hey, Andy, did you roll a fantastic? No. Fissure, no. So Flora, you are the first one to act in this bonus round.
Cool. So I think I'm gonna try to grab them with some vines.
Okay.
That's like the web trapping
Yep.
thing.
Yeah. So for listeners, because there's not great plant powers in this game, we are reskinning the web powers to be plant based. And so
Oh, sick.
And some melee. ones.
also apparently for us, because I don't think I mentioned that to the rest of the group either.
That's good to know.
Oh, whatever. That's
I
right.
have a made up power.
Yes. So yeah. So what ability do you want to use?
So it's called web trapping,
Okay.
and I think it has a cost. So
Okay.
it's like 10.
Okay. So that'll tick off 10 of your focus.
Okay.
Do you have, is this the, okay. So you can fill up to 5 squares with webs.
Okay. Then I guess it can probably only target one, right?
I'll say if you wanted to like web them both down, you could do that. Like you could get
Okay.
both of their feet.
Yeah. Okay. I'd like to do that.
Okay. And then I don't think you need to roll to hit. Yeah, they are just paralyzed. What they are going to do then on their turn is they are going to use an action to try to escape. They need to get an 18 to break out of this. So they're going to use their reactions. That is not an 18. Okay, so the one on the right is able to break out of the webs. The one on the left is not. So, and then would you like to move or do anything else on your turn, Flora?
Yeah. I guess I'll come in a little further. So I'm a little more in the room.
Sounds good. Yeah. And so this one over here, like I said, on the right is the one that has broken out. And so the thugs did not roll a fantastic, so they are not going to be acting in the bonus round. And so, Andy, we're going to go over to you.
So I get an action, reaction, and movement, correct?
Correct.
Great. I'm gonna move just a little bit to get out of the way of the doorway. And then I want to elemental ricochet towards the bandit on the right who escaped
Okay.
from the webbing. So roll to hit. What is math? That's 12 on the dice. So then I'm trying to figure out what I add to it.
You should have your agility modifier or agility score.
So that's going to be 16.
Okay, that is a hit.
Nice. So then I roll again for damage. No,
So you'll
it's-
take your Marvel die.
Yes. So then that is 18 plus 4 is 22 damage.
22.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Because it
so-
was the 6. I got 6 on the Marvel die. Times 3 is 18 plus 4.
Okay, so your electricity like arcs out, catches into the plants, and kind of channels and takes
just
this
give 'em the
person
finger
out
guns.
of the battle.
Hey, buddy,
and
what
they're
you
like-
doing?
They are like comically blasted backwards
Yeah.
against the wall before they faint. They're perfectly fine.
Never misjudge the finger guns.
Like after she woke up, she just saw someone do finger guns on TV once, and she's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
finger
yeah,
guns.
perfect."
Yeah. Does she need to do finger guns?
No,
Definitely
not
not.
in the slightest.
But
Always.
it's much more fun.
Yeah.
Okay, Gracie, over to you. You got one person who is webbed,
I don't even know there's
And
anything.
and
we
then
can do
another
at this
person
point.
who's
Vines.
vined.
Not
Fine.
webs.
Sorry.
Y'all done messed him up good already. Okay, sure. I'll use elemental blast. What is with edge mean?
So edge means you re-roll a die of your choice and take the higher result.
Okay.
So it's like advantage, but for a single die.
I will re-roll the 1. There we go. And this is agility, so 15 to hit? No.
That's a hit.
Sorry, 20 to hit.
That's
it was 15 on the
even
die.
more of a
It didn't
hit.
matter, yes. Okay, so Marvel die times agility. My agility multiplier is 4.
Okay.
So 20 plus my ability modifier, so 25?
Yes.
Okay, a bunch of shards of like stone appear and then just like fly forward out of her hands and repeatedly hit him.
Okay. So as these shards of stone fly, and they're not sharp, of course.
No. We don't want to damage
That would
anything
be
except him.
That would be mean.
Right.
They do, of course, hit the vined henchman and knock him out as one of them clocks him in the side of the head. And so,
and she throws the rug. She pauses and she's like, "Finger guns."
finger gun.
Hey,
That's what my advisor
you're
does.
catching on.
She looks at her
And so-
questioningly, like, "Did I do it right? Is that?"
Is that
Hey.
okay? So y'all do notice now that y'all have diffused the situation, we're out of combat. You do notice there are some people that were eating in the restaurant that are kind of like cowered in the corners. The staff kind of peeks their head out from around in the kitchen area where they seem to have hid. They come and kind of walk out. They see all the vines. They see the rubble. They see Andy.
Anyone got a cup of coffee?
And
Laugh track
as you
goes off
ask,
in the background.
yeah. As they ask that, of course, because this is a New York diner, there's actually just a cup of coffee on the counter ready to go.
Hey, cup of coffee. This is mine
And
now.
the person behind the counter just kind of like motions towards it as they like step out.
Here, have $2. That's
So-
enough for a coffee, right?
Diner coffee, yay!
Y'all have gotten your coffee. Would you like, you say y'all, Andy has gotten their coffee. Would y'all like to say anything to the staff or patrons of this restaurant, or are you going to kind of duck out?
We need a catchphrase. We don't have a catchphrase.
Finger guns.
We are definitely not students at the college across the street. Don't check.
Yeah.
Or faculty.
I definitely don't come in here every day for a cup
Every
of
day.
coffee that I don't
Yes.
drink.
She was in here 4 hours ago.
Yes.
I think maybe I'd want to check and make sure nobody's like hurt or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
You, Laura, are able to go and make your rounds and are able to come and kind of chat with people and make sure people are okay. There's people are definitely like alarmed, but it doesn't seem like anyone has any sort of wounds or anything like that.
I'll just give them
Oh.
some flowers too. To
Okay.
anyone who seems like especially scared, just to make them feel a little better.
I'll stop one of the employees before they walk out. What did they want?
They just broke in. They just seemed to want money. They said that they were trying to cause a distraction, and then they didn't want the police to like come over here first. They were trying to get people to go to the school, and then they were not very good thugs, and they kind of just like revealed their whole plan. But like they seemed to just want the money that we had.
So the fire alarm across the street was the distraction so they could rob you.
Yes. It seems like they were not good
Interesting.
thugs because they pulled the fire alarm at the building right next to the diner. It seems like they may not have a high logic score.
Shared parking lot. So everyone, okay, good, excellent. Well then, okay.
As you make your way out of the building, the sun majestically sets on New York, framing the city. We're then cut to a montage of the three of you saving New York City, specifically the area around
the college.
The
Empire
college.
State University. Not anywhere else.
No, two
also
streets over,
conveniently, no
whatever.
one has.
Nah,
Yeah, no
Not
one's
our-
figured
not our
out who
district.
two out of the three of you are.
Nope.
And
that's where
Entirely-
Hell's Kitchen starts.
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
streets
Yeah,
over is like-
other heroes protect that
Yeah.
neighborhood. After a handful of months of y'all spending your evenings battling, you find yourself sitting on top of the geology, biology, engineering building, as you often do after a night of superheroing. You hear a strange whooshing sound, As you look around, you notice that 3 sets of small portals are opening above you. Out of the portal drops an envelope addressed to you using your superhero name.
Okay.
And it
Andy.
drifts down
Andy.
and lands in your hand.
I look up through the portal.
It's black on the other
Oh,
side.
okay. I was like, do they see the inside of a really nice house in a different part of New York? I think that's where those go usually.
Is this like Doctor Strange-esque portal that we're talking about?
Yeah. We on our end would recognize this as
right.
a Doctor Strange-esque portal.
Which
Great.
means it was Ned.
Yes.
'Cause Ned can open portals.
As we've discovered recently.
And you're
He's not very good at
assuming
it.
that Ned exists in this universe.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Yes.
They're not going to give me Genki, then they have to give me Ned. Okay, I'll open it.
Okay.
At least they put the periods in between the letters.
Yeah, it's a very nice font, and you can tell that it is
calligraphy.
printed on very nice paper.
Ooh, is this double thickness?
Yes.
Nice.
And it's a type of letter that, like, as you open it, it's not just like sheets; it like unfolds.
Oh,
And you notice that as you unfold it, it creates an A as it opens up for just a moment in the fold. And it says, "Congratulations, you have been put forward as a potentially new member of the Avengers. Please come and meet us tomorrow at Avengers Mansion in Manhattan at 6 p.m. Signed, Captain America."
Ooh.
Below that, it says, "Please show up in costume. No need to dress normal."
I really want Gracie to be like entirely too skeptical for her age, so she's treating it like one of those extended warranty phone calls. So it's like,
Yep.
It's Captain America.
I'll have you, if y'all want to all give me a logic check.
I mean, we watched him fall out of a portal in the sky. It's probably fine. Good. Good logic. Excellent.
We're rolling all 3 again, right? For this.
Yes, all 3.
Okay.
Closest
And add
I
your
come to
non-combat modifier.
Oh, okay, that
9.
helps.
Or
9.
9 for Andy.
12. This is the closest I came to a dump stat.
16.
16. Okay. Sage, as the tenured member of the group,
Nice.
you are, of course, aware that while the Avengers has been a smaller team of late, they do seem to have been doing some recruiting and trying to bolster the numbers back up. And so it does seem reasonable to you from what you have seen over these past couple months, years, that the Avengers would be looking for new team members.
I think this is legit.
So are we
You don't
going?
say. I say no reason not to.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So the meeting is tomorrow night, which is Saturday night. So you have the day to prepare. I guess you have the night now after you've had an evening of superheroing, but then you also have most of the day tomorrow to go and get ready. You do not need directions to the Avengers Mansion. It's a well-known location. A couple things that I would like to know from each of you is, what do you do to get ready to go to what seems to be a tryout to join the Avengers? And then y'all can decide this as well as a group, but do you arrive together or do you all like arrive individually?
Andy is going to take her superhero outfit, which is just a pair of glasses, and bedazzle them.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Love that.
She's gonna bedazzle them with red gemstones.
Banger.
And then go, yes, perfect. Just what I needed. And set them back down. And that's it.
Okay.
And I mean, she'd be happy to go with them. I mean, with the other two. So if they want to show up by themselves, they can. But she would like the company.
Wait, can Flora fly?
No.
Okay. Okay. Because we don't probably have cars because it's, New York.
This is New York. Yeah. Well, there's, public transportation or walking.
Like 3 of us in our costumes.
Oh, true.
Well, my costume
I will say though,
is a bedazzled
Flora,
set of
like
glasses,
Flora has
so.
web slinging, which is of course plant slinging.
Oh.
I
So,
could,
like-
okay, yeah. I
So
feel
like, while you
okay,
can't
yeah.
fly,
could plant
No.
a
you do
stick.
have the ability. You do have plant slinging
Okay, yeah,
as a way of navigating.
We can swing on vines like Tarzan.
Yeah.
sick. That animation was so far ahead of its time. I love that stuff. That's such a good movie. Yeah, I guess we'll just go. Gracie will spend about 15 minutes longer than she should still doing homework and not leaving herself enough time to get ready, presumably.
Okay.
And then we'll get ready. And I guess because we're going in costume, she'll use her, like, she can fly, but it's not actually flying. I think I showed Cameron a video of it. It's essentially like surfing on like rocks that just kind of appear underneath her, like out of the ground. So she'll just kind of, which seems like a terrible thing to do through the middle of New York City.
I mean, we can use the Avatar logic here, which is that all the rocks just drop back down to the
Just
exact
like
right
into the ground.
location.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
it's fine.
they
Yeah,
just clip back into underneath the ground,
perfect.
like video game
You could,
standard.
yeah, you could also argue maybe this is even a service. Maybe as you go through and create
Right.
rock, you even like fill in
I'm
potholes,
filling
Yeah.
stuff
potholes.
like that.
Yes, that's why the
mean,
city hasn't gotten
don't-
upset at me yet.
It's
Yeah,
the tax dollars.
don't tell the union,
hard at work.
but
Right?
like,
Yes, perfect. Okay, yeah, that works.
what about for Flora? What are you doing to get ready?
Oh, to get ready. I mean, I don't know. Probably like some air boxing, just kind of
Okay.
like hype up and some like, you got this. You're a great hero. Flowers are so strong. You can vine better than anybody. And just really hype up and then be super normal when I meet up with the others.
Yeah. Not sweaty, not at all like self-conscious
Yeah,
about
no. Looking great.
everything's great.
You got a little bit of sweat there. Are you okay?
Just some plant juice. A little chlorophyll.
okay.
Some like, okay.
Perfect.
I was missing my plants before this. It's okay.
Yes, everything's fine. Had to swing by the school, had to mist some plants.
Yep.
Everything's fine.
You know, it's that time of year. They have to be
Yeah.
misted every 2 hours.
Oh, no.
Okay. So from here, we'll cut to y'all slinging, flying, surfing through the city as a team. Lots of people taking photos of you, as you would expect, as you travel through. It seems like overnight word has gotten out that the three of you have been invited to the Avengers tryouts. And as you make your way to Avengers Mansion, you find perhaps that it doesn't look as you would expect. Whereas maybe you might have expected this to be a solitary event. Outside the manor is packed with people. There's crowds, there's news, media is here. There's a whole bunch of people, almost red carpet-esque, as y'all arrive at the Avengers Mansion. As you approach, they of course want you to pose for pictures, all of that kinds of things. Do y'all stop? Do you talk with press, or do you go in?
If Andy could sniff her nose, she would. She would just do like a little, and then just like walk right in. Ignores all of it.
Oh, like the nostril flare or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a.
They're like, Andy, can we get a photo? And you just power through.
Maybe later.
2 seconds
got
of
research
finger
to
guns.
do.
And it
Yeah.
goes.
2 seconds.
I'll maybe wave to like a little kid, like a little 6-year-old.
Okay.
I'll wave to the extra little kids, but like.
I would like to find the most obnoxious press person and just like stick a flower. I don't know.
This is
Just
J.
in
Jonah
their
Jameson
face,
at
yeah.
the Daily Bugle. How do you feel about Spider-Man?
Oh no!
Do you agree that
good.
he's a menace?
Shove a flower at him and
Okay, because you're not answering my
I will,
question.
like, poke him in the head
Does
and
your
go,
silence
"No."
mean that you support Spider-Man and that you do not believe he's a menace?
I have
Oi.
nothing to say.
No one asked you.
No comment.
Have a
Don't
goatee.
Okay, so you have given Triple J a flower. Fissure, what about you?
She will stay like on the rock, like longboard, because in my head it's a longboard. So she'll just like longboard literally straight up to the door and not stop.
Okay.
She will wave at a small child because yes, that
Okay.
is
Yeah.
fair. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
As you
otherwise, no.
longboard by, a kid like sticks their hand out for a high five.
Sure. Yes, that's fine.
Okay. And then y'all make your way through. Within Avengers Mansion, you find wait staff handing out hors d'oeuvres. You find there's a stage that is currently empty. There's a handful of notable like socialites from New York, including Wilson Fisk, who is, of course, the newly elected mayor. You find all sorts of people. Of course, there are some of the Avengers that are around. And then a question that I asked y'all all to be thinking about for this is the way that getting into the Avengers tryouts worked is that your name had to be nominated by a hero. That hero does not have to be a known member of the Avengers. They just need to be someone that would put your name forward. So for each of you, who put your name forward to join the Avengers?
Mine also tags into a later question you had that you sent us, but it's Tony Stark for Andy, because it's similar fields that they participate in, but I will fill out details later. But Tony Stark.
For Gracie, it's so before, I think where is it? As college student, because I picked student as the occupation, I have a mentor, and my mentor is actually Storm. Because Gracie is a mutant with elemental powers. So I'm just going to assume it was Storm.
Sage is similarly a mutant. I think it would be Professor X.
Okay. So as y'all enter the building, there are videos of Tony Stark, Storm, and Professor X kind of playing on loop. And like it's like once one of them finishes, it cycles to the next one. And it's them kind of talking through the accomplishments and the things that you have done and why they put your name forward. We kind of montaged it, but what do you think would be your character's like biggest accomplishment? Like what would they see as their biggest win? And if this doesn't have to be like a specific event, it could be like a type of heroing that they see as like their biggest responsibility to go to Spider-Man.
Yes, with great power.
Yes.
Cough, nudge, cough. You said greatest accomplishment?
Yeah, or like greatest, like, and again, it doesn't need to be like I saved this one person.
Right.
But like what types of things like do you think your character would be like fulfilled by doing?
Okay, so what I wrote on mine was that a couple times in the last 6 months she had gotten to fight with the X-Men.
Okay.
Like as a fill-in, like against like Sentinels or like the Brotherhood of Mutants or something.
Okay.
And that's a big deal for her because Storm is her mentor.
Yeah, and this would make sense. This would be a great opportunity for you to meet Storm. This would be a great opportunity for you to kind of see what it's like to operate on a nationally renowned team like the X-Men.
Right. One of the things Andy has done recently, completely by accident, while doing her research, was accidentally, because she does mostly like computer engineering, was accidentally hack into one of Tony Stark's like systems that he was working on, which is what like brought his attention to her of like she exists. And it was just while she was working on a project and she accidentally found her way into his system and was like so sorry about it. And then like later, like she was like, yeah, you know what, like I didn't mean to do that at all, but now I'm like super proud of it. And then like he like asked her to do a couple of small things or whatever throughout, kind of like helping with the X-Men, just test out her abilities a little bit. So I would say that's the big thing, but like she just accidentally got into one of his systems that he was working on. It feels kind of proud about that because that was a hard thing to do.
So when we get to the Tony Stark video, it cuts to footage of you like finger gunning, shooting at like rogue suits that have been taken over as he's been having you help him. Yeah, helping with kind of assembling some of his armors that have fallen into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Okay. Flora?
There was like an earthquake that threatened one of New York's like big historical buildings, and Flora helped stabilize it by like weaving a bunch of like trees and vines and stuff through it. And it kind of like beautified it and kept it standing and saved a bunch of people, and that was like before that she was kind of like a, just keeping the area around the campus safe and kind of a smaller, quieter vigilante type hero. And then this was kind of the big moment where everybody was like, who's this?
So then with Professor X's video, it cuts to you and he says, the sign of a great mutant is not just the wonders of their power, but their ability to use those powers to protect. I, Professor X, nominate Sage to join the Avengers. Flora, not Sage.
Yeah.
He does not reveal your secret identity. That was a Cameron mistake, not a Professor X mistake.
Oh, we're using our made-up names, right?
Oh, yeah, made up names.
Made up names? What's that?
That was the
I didn't
best.
make one
Yeah,
of those up. Did I need to?
So
I'm just been going by Andy.
yeah, these testimonies are probably about like 5 minutes for each of you. There's maybe like 10, 15 like TVs throughout the mansion that are all kind of cycling through them. So as you pass from like one room to the next, there'll be one for a different one of you. A question I have for y'all is as you are maybe snacking, doing whatever, are there people here that specifically you would want to be looking out for? Or are you just kind of doing your own thing? Like what does being at a large party with potentially hundreds of people celebrating you look like for your character?
Instant and significant discomfort. Big no. She'll look for Storm.
There are like a contingent of X-Men in the building. You do notice though that Storm does not seem to be one of them.
Okay.
We are of course in the Krakoan era, and so she perhaps may be off doing other things. You notice that she is not here. In fact, as you all look around, you notice that Tony and Professor X are not here as well.
Do I see any big name heroes?
Yeah, so like there's a handful that you recognize. You see the current Wolverine. See Laura.
Okay.
You also notice Nightcrawler as kind of two of the X-Men that are here, kind of representing that team. You notice that Bruce Banner is here as well. Bruce Banner has kind of stood down as being the Hulk, but whereas Tony is hypothetically sequestered at a cabin somewhere, Bruce has kind of stayed involved in the city. You also notice Kate Bishop is here, and you recognize a handful of what we would consider like mid-tier characters. So like you notice that there's no like Captain Marvels here, there's no Thors, people that like we would see as like the like cosmic level characters are not here. It's a lot of like street level type heroes that are here.
Black Panther?
Black Panther is not here.
Okay, because that would technically
He, of course,
matter.
has a nation to run.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
That would also matter to her, I guess, because are Black Panther and Storm married in the MCU or just in the comics?
Storm is not in the
Just-
MCU.
Oh, I guess she's not in the MCU.
So-
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would just be in the comics.
That would
Yeah.
just be a comics thing.
Andy would probably, I mean, because she's an android, she looks very unbothered by the entire scenario because she does like it takes a lot to phase her. Haha, 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 haha. That one was for you, Cameron.
I've made my sense on puzzle now. Was I looking up stuff and completely not listening? Yes, but I'm going to assume
She's-
I just didn't like it.
She's
I'll get it in the
very
record.
unfazed.
Ooh.
Um,
I'm surprised you don't have a soundboard for that by now. Just like
I
a single
know.
button that's just like,
Yeah.
I've made my stance on puzzle.
But she would probably want to go pick Banner's brain a little bit just about nerdy science stuff, just to see what his latest research project is or whatever. So that's probably
So-
what she's doing.
Of course, the people around you, what you're saying makes literally no sense.
Yeah.
As you and Banner start going deep into some technological mumbo
Yeah.
jumbo.
That makes no sense to anyone else.
Of course, gamma rays and all of that kind of stuff. After a while, you hear hello next to you, and as you turn, you see the pink skin of Vivian Vision, Vision's daughter, who is of course another android. This is what I had to Google is to make sure I had her name correct.
She's so cute.
And she also
Yeah,
phases, doesn't she?
Yes, I love Viv. Viv is a great character. She just like looks up and says, I'm so happy to see that your name got put forward. I hope, of course, to join the Avengers just like my dad did someday. I'm so happy to see androids representing us well.
She just sort of freaks out a little bit and goes, "Oh, you're so cute. Stay in school. I mean, you don't really eat vegetables, but eat your vegetables, whatever that equates to. And yeah, listen to your dad." She doesn't really know how to interact with children.
Yeah.
But she's just like, child, eat your vegetables.
Yep. Viv would definitely be like somebody that you would, like most people here would recognize as like, well, not necessarily a major hero, is probably one of like the other, like the Vision family is of course very famous.
Yeah.
And so she's well known because of that. Sage, over to you. What do you think you're up to?
Flora would try to make like normal small talk with some people and would probably feel very uncomfortable because this is a lot of attention in a like she's good if you stick her in front of like a classroom full of students, but like this is about her. It's not about like a curriculum. After whiffing a couple of the like small talk conversations, she's just gonna go find like any mutant that she knows and just kind of follow them around.
Okay. You make your way over to Wolverine as she has like one of her two claws out, and it's just is like she like shish kebabbed ribs, like things that like were not previously shish kebabbed, but she's just like eating them off of her claw, and just looks over and goes, "Oh, hello, Flora." And she like bites through and like rips all this stuff off of like the least eloquent like way of doing things, and it's like.
The waitstaff
Looking
looks
forward to
appalled.
hear that you might be joining the team. Excited to get more mutants with us.
Yeah, it's exciting is a word that you could use for this. How's the food?
Oh, I mean, I've gotten used to the Krakoan food, so it's a little different being back here in New York, but been making more of an effort to help the Avengers lately. And so it's good to be back.
Good to see you. Everything's okay back home.
So far, so good. For you as mutants, for both of you to be thinking about is, have you decided to go to Krakoa? This would definitely be something of like, neither of you, like if y'all are going to school, you could of course be taking a portal back and forth, but that is something to like consider for your characters, is if they have made the decision to move to Krakoa and accept the call of Professor X. So don't need an answer for that now, but that is something to keep in mind. After a while of chatting, making rounds, maybe some light snacking, you do find your way towards the center as the lights begin to dim. So the classic Avengers theme song begins playing through the speakers. The lights kind of all pivot and do fancy maneuvers that Emma would know the words for and I don't, before coming and focusing on the stage.
We have time for that discussion? No.
No.
And I'm okay with that.
As they focus in, Sam Wilson steps forward carrying the Captain America shield. The room goes quiet, and he says, "Welcome, heroes. Thank you for joining us today. As you know, the Avengers stand against tyranny and protect the people of the world. We are a shield of hope for the hurt and a light that scatters the darkness of evil. It is not an easy job, but it is an important one. Tonight you will," and then he just his kind of eyes lose focus for a moment, and he puts his hand to an ear, and he looks over at y'all and says, "I know just the people." And that's where we'll cut it for today. As we jump in for next time, we'll pick up with whatever it is that Captain America has heard.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. Thanks for listening to City on a Hill Gaming. If you want to find out more, visit us online at cityonahillgaming.com or by sending us an email at cityonahillgaming@gmail.com. Or check the link in the description to join our Discord. Thanks as always to our Patreon backers, Christina, Joanne, Tony, Bryan, Andrew, Sir Lord Epicname, and Grizzly Rich. And as always, thanks for listening, and have a blessed day.